do you believe that the regulation that's been proposed by the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau is going to put you on the same footing as if someone got my card number off my credit card and charged, she said $200. Let's say somebody ripped off my credit card information and fraudulently charged $150 on my credit card. I'd only be liable for $50 of that.
Right.
And so why is the rule that's being proposed going to put you on equal footing with a credit card company under that situation? And do you support that? Yes or no?
Yes, we already, not only do we support it, we already do it. But I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm very respectful of this, and I'm deep into the topic and deeply concerned about it. But we're conflating terms here accidentally, and it's easy to do because it's a complex business. If you have a prepaid card, that is an FDIC bank account that if it's issued by a Reg-compliant bank like Green Dot Bank, you are covered in every way which you just said, in every manner, shape, and form. And in fact, this year alone, we'll do something like $20 million in charge-offs related to refunding consumers money that they have lost on their bank account.
Okay.
The product, though, that we're here speaking about is a deposit slip. It's not a bank account. There's no name associated with it. There's no account associated with it. It's a transfer. I'm trying to think how to explain it better. And you're not putting it on an account. You're suspending it, and then you're giving it to the bad guy to put on his account. It never goes onto an account. And that's why you eliminate the PIN. To your point is by getting rid of the PIN pack, it avoids that problem. There's no way to do that. But the PIN card itself is simply a deposit slip. So
it's not being held in a bank.
It better, but,
it's not being held in a bank. It's being held in suspension.
Yes, it's a deposit slip that's transferred, and that's the difference.
So does it say anywhere on your marketing when you say on?
Oh yes.
I don't want to. It says reload prepaid cards, make same-day payments, add money to PayPal account. Is there a check there that says you will not get it back if it is ripped off?
It is, yeah. And the instructions on the back, if you take a look at it, we make sure, first of all, the warning is gargantuan, and we keep using more shocking colors, and you have to scratch through the warnings just to get to the number, that this is we're doing what the consumer instructs. If they instruct us to move that money to an American Express card account or to a Green Dot card account or to an account by some, and we do that and the account is credited, the product's job is done. The challenge here, which is why we're eliminating the product, is that the product itself hasn't done anything wrong and the company hasn't lost anyone's money. The problem is the consumer. Let me give you a better analogy. Maybe this is
the consumer. I understand what's happening. The consumer is being duped into thinking they are giving their money to
somebody real.
Somebody real. And in reality, they are being ripped off. I get what's happening.
Yeah.
Let me get to the prosecution part. You say there have been a lot of successful prosecutions. Do you have analytics on any of that? Can you tell me how many people has money been recovered and or gone to prison and or been convicted of felonies? Do any of your three companies keep the analytics on how many successful prosecutions?
Prison, I don't know. I can't tell you that part because I don't know that. By the way, I'm the CEO, and we have a fabulous team of over 300 people who work in risk and fraud. And if our head of fraud operations were here, it may be that they could tell you that.
Well, I think it would be helpful for the committee to learn that. I'd like to know.
Oh, you bet. Yeah.
And what do you see as the barriers, any of you, towards successful prosecution in terms of your relationship with law enforcement or them saying this is too de minimis for us to worry about? I mean, I'm thinking back in my experience, if one of your companies called me and said, hey, we've got a con artist and we know they've taken this amount of money, I would want to know that this was someone who had done this repeatedly, or I'd say you need to be in municipal court.
Well, the secret to prosecution, and Skeet's on the front lines in his company and would probably know more about the operational aspects of it. The trick is keeping great record keeping and being able to give evidence to law enforcement so they can have a successful prosecution. Simply saying, hey, we think Joe Blow took $50 does not excite law enforcement necessarily. And again, when they speak to the victim, oftentimes the victim says, no, I meant to do that. I did do that. So there are some jurisdictions that may not believe there's been a crime committed at all in that particular case. So it is a little bit more complicated. But to your point, absolutely. You keep records, you keep track of it, you come up with compelling evidence to help law enforcement say, wow, follow this trail. We think there's this much money. We see a pattern here with multiple accounts off multiple banks. And we've had many, many arrests. And are quite proud of that, and we can certainly get you a list of those and give you a sense of how we monitor that.
It's a little bit like robocalls. Phone companies are not the problem, but they're in the best position to help us stop robocalls, and they have not really stepped up, and we've done a lot of hearings on this in my subcommittee over in Commerce on the robocall space. This is very similar. You all are in the best position to stop this, and I know you're working on it, but I look forward to working with the chairman on your, and the new chairman on legislation that we can put maybe together to combine these two areas that would delineate clearly the responsibilities of informing consumers and protecting consumers.
It's a great idea, and you will find a very willing and cooperative, I don't know much about the phone companies, but in terms of the prepaid industry, you'll find a very willing group. It harms our reputation. It harms our fabulous brand name.
Yes.
It's a horrible thing. It's a disgusting thing.